You're in your driveway, you got some vomit around you, and you're passed out behind the wheel.
Is this appropriate behavior for a mother?
Absolutely not.
You would never expect a parent to turn against their own children, but some parents have done the unthinkable. Today we will look at shocking cases where evil parents were exposed and sent to prison, thanks to their brave children who had enough of their cruelty. On November 10th, 2021, officers received a report regarding a lady who was found unconscious in the driver's seat of an SUV that was partially on a grass lawn and parked unevenly.
Hi.
Hello.
What's going on?
You okay? You don't seem okay.
Well, I'm in my driveway.
Right, you're in your driveway, you got some vomit around you, and you're passed out behind the wheel.
Let me gather myself.
Okay, you go ahead and gather yourself.
What's the problem?
You wanna come outside?
Let's step out. Let's get you out of the car, okay?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Do you live here?
Of course I live here. I own this house.
Do you know where you are? What house is it? What's the number?
57.
Here, come on here.
You call the police on me now.
Well, somebody was concerned. I mean, you're unconscious in your car. It's kind of concerning. Back up.
Deputies showed up at the site to check on the woman and to investigate the situation further.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
What narcotics do you use?
I'm waking up.
What narcotics do you use?
Don't use any narcotics. I'm waking up. Actually, I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
What's going on?
I don't know.
You don't know? They said they found you slumped over in your car.
I was tired. I was up all night delivering papers and,
Apparently there's a toddler in the house. I'm gonna check.
Oh, great.
You don't want to go down to the hospital?
No, I'm fine.
Where's your kid at?
I'm really working.
Where's your child at?
My kids are inside.
Who's been watching them?
Their sisters have been watching.
So is there an adult inside?
There is a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to knock on the door, no one's answering.
Shockingly, the situation took a darker turn when deputies found children alone inside the house with no adult supervision, one of which was a toddler.
Because y'all are cops.
Can we go in? Do we have permission to go into your house?
You do not.
Okay, well, let me explain to you what's going on, okay?
Please do.
You are obviously unconscious at your wheel.
Sheriff's up.
They open now. Come sit over here.
Okay.
Come over here.
I have been working my ass off.
Sit down on the bucket. Sit down on the bucket. Sit down. You're slumped over the wheel. You have 3 kids in the house. The toddler's in a back bedroom by himself crying, and you're out here passed out.
He's in the back bedroom.
He was.
crying.
Is this appropriate behavior for a mother?
Absolutely not, and this has never happened, not even once, sir.
Okay, so the people who have told us that this is a reoccurring thing, they're lying to us?
No, I don't know who is telling you that.
I'm not sure, but we're gonna figure this out.
It is quite obvious from the woman's slurred speech and unsteady demeanor that she is intoxicated. Yet she kept claiming that she was working all night.
Of course, because I am a good mother.
Did you use any drugs last night?
No, I haven't. I am.
Because you are not acting normal right now.
Okay, and I can explain it to you. Okay?
Go ahead.
Just listen to me out. I understand because of my record, it doesn't look good.
I didn't even look you up.
Just saying. Okay? It doesn't look good. I'm so stressed out. I don't know if I'm in a separation. I don't know which way my life is going. I'm on the edge of a breakdown.
Okay.
So I know you were a little confused when I asked you where your kid was a little bit ago. Do you want to know where he was exactly?
I told you where he was.
Where was he in the house?
I wasn't in the house.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. So I'm just going to tell you where he was in the house. He was hiding behind a chair in that room alone, next to this knife.
What kind of good mother abandons her kids alone in the house as she gets drunk and passes out behind the wheel of a car at 10 in the morning?
Is that normal, or does that concern you whatsoever?
Absolutely not, because I left him in the hands of my teenage girls.
Okay.
Which I thought was legal. I thought I was able to do
Listen,
that.
if your girls are capable of looking after him, that's fine. But
Yeah.
you were unconscious with vomit all over you in the driver's seat of a car. So I'm just trying to figure out how long has it been since you checked on your kids.
How, an hour or so?
What happened between when you checked on them and you ended up in the car passed out like that?
An hour?
But what happened? What took place between you checking on them and you ending up in the car in that condition? What were you doing? What happened?
Okay, so I had left, and what was I doing? Something. I was still trying to gather my thoughts.
The woman was so drunk that she could hardly understand the officer, much less come up with a coherent response.
Okay, well, do your best to gather your thoughts. Just to be clear, these thoughts are in the last 2 hours, so it shouldn't be too hard to gather them.
No, sir, please, out of all respect, guys, you know what happened across the street.
I don't know.
My son died right across the street.
You're a what?
My son,
Okay.
He what?
Logan Goodman, died
Okay.
right across the street
I'm sorry to hear
a
that.
year ago.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's been very hard coping with that.
Do you recall what happened between you checking on your kids and how you ended up in the wheel behind the wheel in the condition
I
you're in?
am getting there, sir.
Okay.
Okay? I can understand how it looks.
I'm sorry that you had to go through the things you had to go through in the past year or so, and I'm sorry for the loss of your son. Right now, my main concern, my priority, is that while you were passed out in your vehicle with vomit on you in the driver's seat, your infant child was in the back bedroom alone next to this knife, hiding behind a chair.
Instead of taking responsibility for her actions, the woman deflected by bringing up her son who had passed away a year ago, seemingly trying to get the officer's sympathy.
Girls are with him now. They just got a diaper on him.
I am not under
Yeah.
the influence,
Well,
but
as
in
far as anything else,
recovery,
then
I
that's
have been
our turn.
clean.
What are you in recovery from?
January 20th, okay, I have been
Well,
in
what are you
recovery.
recovering from?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Nothing hardcore.
All right. Does that have anything to do with how you ended up here this morning like that?
No.
I worked with Robert. He was needed a job.
Who's Robert? Her boyfriend, husband,
The guy
whatever?
that lives here. We haven't been able to get a hold of him, call him or nothing, so they sent me up here to see if I could wake him up or see if he was home. Or
Okay. Yeah,
just,
he's not home.
My son has been teething,
Okay.
okay? And every time that the police come around, okay, something happens to one of my children.
Where's the guy that lives here?
My husband,
Yeah.
he's at work.
No, he's not, because his work just showed up and they said they haven't heard from him.
Things took an unexpected turn when a man claiming to work with the woman's husband arrived asking about his whereabouts. This prompted the officers to research the house, leading to an even more interesting twist.
Is he passed out here somewhere?
Am I allowed to
We're gonna go
my-
check.
gonna stay here for a second.
This is my house.
Just hold on a second,
Am I
Robert.
detained?
Yes, right now you are, yes. We're trying to figure out a lot of
What?
stuff here, so just hang out for a
What am
minute.
I detained for?
Sit down, please. Sit
Okay,
down.
then can I please go to the bathroom?
Sit down. We will figure that out after. Sit down.
Why were you asleep on the bathroom floor when there's a bed right there?
I don't know. There's no reason. What's going on?
He's working his ass off, that's why.
What is going on?
Alright, you know what?
Come over here, I'll explain all of it to you.
What's the real question here, officer?
We didn't just mosey on in the street and mosey on into your house and just kind of start walking around. There are things that led to this. Can you
Yeah.
describe what some of those problems were?
Yeah, a Karen called because I fell asleep.
Despite failing to answer the officers' questions, the woman boldly challenged them again, insisting she knew exactly what was happening over the past couple of hours.
And if you went out to dinner to get a bite to eat, sometimes people have their teenagers watch their kids, that's one thing. But when you're both at home, unconscious in the way that you guys were, and the babies run around naked or hiding behind a chair naked with a knife next to them, we're past having our teenagers look after our kids, because we're talking about hours. She can't tell me what happened the last couple hours. You're telling me you've been asleep since 1, so I don't know who's been watching these kids.
I can tell you everything.
Oh,
Okay.
we want to try this again. We can go for round 4. What happened the last couple hours?
Yes. It is now what time? Okay, we've been under a lot of stress.
That might be the case, but obviously right at this moment it doesn't look like you guys are.
I know. We lost our son right there.
I understand that.
Okay, have you been in that position?
No, I haven't, but regardless of the situation, still need to care for your children. I mean, I
do
can't
care for my children.
explain that
very
enough.
much So.
Well, it seemed like the woman's idea of good parenting involves being passed out on the bathroom floor and behind the wheel while leaving her kids unattended.
People don't react to light.
No, I don't know what you want me to do.
Typically, I mean, if somebody's under the influence of narcotics,
I had a brain
Do your-
injury 3-4 years ago.
so has that caused your pupils to not react to light?
I have hypothyroidism too. Can I hug my son?
Can you just wait a few minutes until we figure all of this out?
You fell asleep in the trunk and I fell asleep in on the toilet.
Because we've been pushing ourselves, baby. We are living across from where our son died. We need to get out of here. It's not fair that we can't get out of here. No matter how hard we try, every day I wake up and I see my dead son on the fucking pavement.
The woman once again attempted to divert the officer's attention by mentioning her brain injury, and then again, she brought up her dead son to win the officer's sympathy when he suggested she could be under the influence.
Put your hands behind your back.
Why are you arresting me, sir?
Or everything that we discussed, okay?
We covered everything several times, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I don't know what questions you would have.
Yeah, why am I being arrested?
Well, that's definitely something we already answered.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be, if you want me to be specific, it's going to be for neglect.
Neglect?
Yes. I'll put the cigarette in your mouth if you want to keep smoking it.
Yes. Robert!
We're gonna go. We'll talk to him. We're gonna go over here to the car.
Can I finish my cigarette, please?
Give it one more big drag.
Can I please?
Come on. This is your second cigarette. We've been here for way too long. Let's just get this over with.
We call out.
I was asleep.
Hey.
With all due respect, at the end of the day, we get a call. She slumped over the steering wheel, and you're passed out in the on the bathroom floor with a toddler running around here in an active construction site inside your house. There's broken glass. The door's unlocked, not latched. Both of you guys screwed up, and I think both of you need to just own up to it.
Robert was charged with culpable negligence of a child, while the lady, Chelsea Wright, was detained on one count of child maltreatment. Chelsea received a 36-month probationary sentence that included grief counseling and mandatory drug testing. Now, you thought that was bad? Wait until you hear about the next parents who took it to another extreme.
To me, being locked in a room, it's dehumanizing. It's almost as bad as genocide.
Tim Ferreter and his wife Tracy Ferreter were arrested in February 2022 and brought to the courtroom as the couple had kept their son locked inside a box in the garage, subjecting him to unimaginable conditions.
Do you like being in that room?
No.
Did you want to be in the room?
No.
How did it make you feel?
To me, being locked in a room, it's dehumanizing. It's almost as bad as genocide. It's saddening to abuse a child that was just acting like a child, never thinking of what an adult would think to do to a child that would succumb his or her efforts in daily life to succeed, suffering from emotional pain, suffering, trauma.
Investigators said the Ferreters had built the room built in their garage shortly after buying their home in late 2021. They had it demolished 12 days after their arrest.
Were there instances where the defendant in this case, Tim Ferreter, acted towards you in a way that was physically aggressive?
Repeat the question.
Was there ever any physical aggression towards you in Florida?
There was instances of grabbing and pushing, but otherwise, no.
Okay.
Physical contact such as punching, hitting, smacking.
Right, none of that happened during the time frame in Florida.
No.
Were there times where he was verbally aggressive to you in Florida?
Yes.
The young kid was imprisoned in this improvised jail, confined in a box, subjected to mistreatment and disregard by those who were supposed to be looking out for him.
Do you think it's hard to think of good memories when everyone around you has a bad image of Tim and Tracy in their mind?
I can easily recall the good times, but I don't have a bad image of Tim and Tracy. They just made a mistake. They just acting out of frantic surprise of my actions. They weren't. I believe that they weren't trying to do any harm.
Yeah.
I believe that people should recognize that was a mistake and forgive them and move on.
I appreciate that.
Ferreter's lawyers tried to minimize the gravity of the situation by characterizing his actions as those of a frustrated parent who was only trying to control his child's behavior.
You could hear the physical abuse when it was happening there. Yes. And did you in fact see an instance where he was pressed up against a wall? Yes. Okay. Were his feet on the ground when that happened? I don't remember. Okay. Did that incident scare you? Yes. What were you worried about? That he was grabbing too tight, that something worse than just hurt might happen. I was worried that one day, that he might
Objection.
Overruled.
that he would accidentally kill my mother.
In a heartbreaking turn of events, the boy's sister testified in court, revealing how on several occasions she feared that her father would brother due to the severity of the abuse.
All right, does either side wish to have the jury polled? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, there's been a request to have the jury polled, and that simply means that each of you will be asked the question of whether the verdict is your verdict or not. If it is, you should only answer yes. If it is not, of course, you should answer no and nothing further. So, Madam Clerk, at this time, if you could please poll the jury.
Juror 1, were the verdicts as read your verdict? Juror 2, were the verdicts as read your verdicts? Juror 3, were the verdicts as read your verdicts? Juror 4, were the verdicts as read your verdicts? Juror 5, were the verdicts as read your verdicts? Juror 6, were the verdicts as read your verdicts?
In a powerful conclusion to the case, the jury found Timothy Ferreter guilty of locking his son inside a makeshift room in the garage and subjecting him to severe abuse.
The court, I'm going to adjudicate the defendant in accordance with the verdict, guilty of the charge of aggravated child abuse, guilty of the charge of false imprisonment, and guilty of neglect. At this time, I'm going to remand the defendant to the custody of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department. That's without prejudice for you to file any type of motion that you deem appropriate, Ms. Murad, for pretrial release or release during pending appeal. This ruling today is without prejudice for me to receive that and consider that at the appropriate time. Let me get an idea as to what the state is looking for in terms of a sentencing hearing.
I can do it as soon as the defense can be ready. He is entitled to a PSI. I don't know what the defense's position is as to that.
I will waive PSI, Your Honor. This is a sentencing that I should be able to get done relatively quickly, should the court have time in 2 or 3 weeks.
I'll make whatever time that I have to expedite sentencing if that's what both sides request.
Timothy Ferreter was found guilty of several serious offenses, such as child negligence, false imprisonment, and aggravated child abuse. He was charged with 30 years in prison. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw how some kids, in heartbreaking circumstances, are forced to take matters into their own hands, ultimately sending their evil parents to prison. These stories highlight the terrifying abuse and manipulation that can come from those who are supposed to care for and protect their children. It is a grim reminder that sometimes the children suffer the most at the hands of those meant to love them. If you agree with me, please support us by liking this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, watch how these corrupt cops were caught doing the unthinkable.
We're about to play a game of manhunt. I'm going to give you a 20-minute head start, and if I see you again, you're going to jail.
Oh,